Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box of the Technical Trader at thetechtrader.com. Saturday, the 14th of January, 2023. This is the weekend webinar. An eventful week. As you can see, the markets were looking dire and then turned around and broke out, surging the last 4 sessions in a row on the S&P 500. S&P went from about 3877 to finish it just around 4,000 on the week, while the NASDAQ 100, as you can see, it's been up for 6 days in a row and it's come all the way up from about 10,760 or so, all the way up to 11,541. About 900 points, really nice move. And it took out lateral resistance as well as a moving average. And that's first time in about 2 months it's been above the 50 for the NASDAQ 100. S&P 500, it's been about a month, but you can see that declining top sign of the S&P is being challenged here. This goes way back a year. The breakout here could complete and left shoulder, head, right shoulder, kind of an inverse head and shoulders type pattern, and take us up to about 4,300, 4,325, my target. On the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100 target is then going to be first to test the 12,100 area. There's a triple top there. You take that out, you're looking at 12.4, 12.7, etc. But more importantly, that will complete a declining top line, 1 year long declining bear market channel, and break it to the upside, and then complete a base pattern for a potential reversal. We shall see. The IWM also, but the only index that I follow closely, the transportation and the S&P and NASDAQ 100 still below, but the IWM small cap index, the first to actually break out above the declining top line. Now, there's a triple top here, 190. We take that out, we're looking at 200 plus. So, and with the moving averages beneath all the indices at this point, and maybe curling up and crossing over, the possibilities of an extension could be good, but we may get a pop and a pullback. It's hard to say. There may be one more retest before we have any more of a substantial move. But you know, the market climbs a wall of worry, and we've been basing out, in my opinion, after a 1 year bear market. So I think there's a lot of attractive prices down here, and you'll see a lot of charts today that look pretty awesome. Let's go to the technicals. McClellan oscillator plus 183.73 got up to 205-ish, which is the highest level we've seen in a couple months. It did reach plus 238 on November the 1st, but you can see that the pullback got you down to minus 165 or so. So even though we're overbought, and we could stay overbought for a while, but it's always cautionary sign to get up into that zone and then pull back. The percentage of stocks above there, 40, is now up to about 3 out of every 4 stocks. Just like 3 short months ago, that thing was down about 8%. You can see the big move we had off the lows on individual stocks. The VIX, which has been very lackluster, is now at almost a 1 year low, 52-week low, as it broke that way to the downside and is in the 18 handle. The low 1801, it closed 1835. We can still work our way lower, 16, even 12 or less, but over the last year, that's the lowest reading we've seen. So with that reading down there, and these 2 indices at the upper end of the range, we certainly are extended, overbought. And the only good part about those readings from a historical perspective is at the beginning of every major intermediate move, this is what occurs. The indices get overbought, the oscillators go to a reading that typically shows overbought readings, but the market stays overbought and works its way higher as the oscillators come down. It's a question of the technicals and how strong they are. The move, but off the low was pretty good, but not great. I've seen much better technicals. Nevertheless, you can see that we're in a level that if it stays up here for a few days or a couple of weeks yet, before a pullback, that wouldn't surprise me. Now I'll look at the underlying components, the market generals. Apple, as you can see, came down hard, bounced from the wedge, and then broke down. It got to a new 18-month low, and then had a nice rally last week. as we move from 124 to 135. There is resistance here on Apple. It's got to get to 138 to get going, with some resistance now at 138 and 44. The declining top line is going to be an important one. Amazon not as strong, although it has had a nice bounce off the low. It moved from 81 and change to 98, and we're at resistance here at the declining top line of lateral price resistance. A breakout on Amazon here should or could get up to the gap around 105.5. That's your next target on Amazon. Google, you can see retested the lows from November, and it's pulled off the low, but very unimpressively so far. And we haven't even broken out above the 50, let alone the declining top line. So I think Google would do very well to get up through 95. That would really be big for the market in general, in my opinion. Microsoft, nice pop off the low and a nice reversal. Been up 6 days in a row, taking it from under 220 to around 240. Just about a 20-point move, and we're at the 50-day. So this has to get through here. This little gap was filled. Next potential targets will be upwards of about 245.50 zone. We'll see if we can get up to that and extend the pattern. But the overall looks like a large 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 way down, a reversal, and a retest. So maybe an important low in place, being put in place in stocks like Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google, etc. Netflix bottomed a long time ago, as you can see. It's been an uptrend. After the falling wedge came into place and it held key support at 274.5, it's went up to 336 and change. Nominal new high over that high. And now my projection says probably 60 range, and then maybe 390 to 400. Wonderful recovery. Look how low this got, from over 700 down to 162.3 range. And here we are, doubled from that level. Meta, or formerly Facebook, long decline, sharp V bottom, breakaway gap. And you can see coil, wedge, coil, and breakout and run up. So Meta has now gone from the November low around 88 to as high as 137, 50-point move or so, and it's at the declining top line, slightly above it. So this could also move, and if it does, targets 143 and 155. And semiconductors in general did well. NVIDIA, after coming down hard and bouncing off key support, it's been up now for 6 days in a row, and it's come off of 139.5 to about 169, 30 points. There's resistance here, but the next target is about 190. That looks much better. Tesla was a disaster for 4 months, having dropped from the 310.15 zone down to nearly 100, trade 101 and change. Bounced up and platformed, or at least it looks like it. Here's the hourly chart. Look, looks like an inverse head and shoulders, or left shoulder, head, right shoulder, V bottom with a platform. Either way, Tesla needs over 126. To really get it going, then your targets are 138, 154.5. So that concludes a look at some of the NASDAQ 100 generals. They're looking a lot better, of course. We have a lot of longs to go over in a few shorts. Let's start with Alcoa as usual. Excuse me. Alcoa had a 5-wave decline, reversed platform that broke out, so it augurs very well for 60, 67, 70 range. ACLX, one of my top picks in the biotech field for the year. After a big explosive move in a multi-month coil, it broke out again, and now it's flagging. I think we're going to low to mid 40s, and this one looks good. Once it pops out above 34.5, 3/4, you can go long. AEHR has been a winner for us all year. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th wave exploded with a breakaway gap. It's run beautifully to new highs. If it gets above Friday's high, 30, 34, I would look for extension to 33, then maybe 36. Next, the gold and silver look good. The HEQs popped here. Wedged. Broke out of the base. Consolidated. Right now, I'm looking for a test around 36.7, and then low to mid 40s. Agilysys, fantastic software stock. What a run this has had just since May. 31 to 84, and it still looks higher. Fantastic chart. targeting 89.90. KRO, a dynamite biotech stock with a massive breakaway move and then a wedge. That was a tech trader swing back in September, I believe. And it looks like it's continuing to channel up. My next target is high 50s. Amcor and the semiconductor group, the big day on Friday as it broke out across a key double top, multi-year highs. This one goes all the way back about 22, 23 years. It hasn't seen that level that long, but an extension could take this into the high 30s, even low 40s. Keep an eye on that one for momentum. Blue sky. AMLX, a top 20 pick, I believe. I'll have to check my list, but it looks like the kind of stock that I'd be looking at. Certainly a bullish biotech stock in line with, I know it was on my top 30. It may not have made the final list. Anyway, here's the bottom line. 3-month consolidation. Your next target, if it breaks out, looking at 50, folks. Could be an interesting short-term play. Our house, big inverse head and shoulders, breakaway, gap, and run up to first target, second target now 15. ARRY, inverse head and shoulders. This is a solar play that exploded to my target. I was a swing at that point. Came down hard to the breakout point, but held it and popped back up to the resistance level 3 times. Can't get through yet. But last week's action, 6 days in a row now, have gone from 1635 to 24. Now it tells me we have momentum enough to get through and go to 27 and 30. Recent IPO, AT&T, after popping and dropping back to about 11, 12 zone, has made it up to 25.40. Friday, it was up more than 5 points to 25%. Momentum, 30 is your target. In the gold sector, AU, one of my favorites, broke out in November. This has moved from 12.5 to 23 and change, and broken through everything, including its declining top line. Now looking for a retest of this area, about 26.7. AUPH, beautiful biotech stock with a vertical move, breakaway gap, and then run straight up. It's taken it literally from 4 to almost 10, 9.5, more than doubled. Good momentum, maybe a little extended, but we could see 11 or 12 on that. In the software group, band, breakaway gap after a long downtrend. Stalled for 3 days and then ran up and wedged. Popped a falling channel. Tagged the trend line. It's moved up now 6 days in a row. Looks to me like a stock that could be 26 again and then 33, 34. Chinese play Billy with a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a little pop here. Gives me a 1, 2 of 5. I'm looking for 3, 4, and 5 to get it up to high 30s. BTAI, another biotech with a strong move, having gone from under 10 to nearly 30, almost a triple in the last 3 months. Looks fabulous here. And your next target is 36.7. Broadwind with a big week last week, exploding from literally from $1.85.90 to $5.60. On Friday alone, jumping another $1.20 or 27%. Volume is solid, but the stock is extended. Nevertheless, if it continues, momentum could take it to 6.5, 7.25. Beyond Spring, big downtrend, falling wedge, falling channel, and then explosive move. Literally went from 54 cents to 297, 6-fold in a week and a half, and then pulled back. Now the wedge has formed. Should it take that wedge out, targeting 3 3/4 and 6. Hold your horses. CABA breaks out, beautiful rising tight channel. Next target, 16. One of my top 20 picks. CECO, a recent and new tech trader swing, and you can see why. Multiple waves up, came out of a flag last week, popped, mid-channel target 15, upper channel target 18. Coherence in the biotech sector after a big drop from August at 14 to December at 561 has taken back 2/3 of that loss and reached 1099 on Friday. Strong momentum, like to see it back and fill a little bit, but your target's 14. In the steel sector, CLF completed a little inverse head and shoulders and broke out here right after the first target. Secondary target 22.5 and 24, maybe just ahead. CPRX, another top 20 pick and a beautiful chart, continues to push, making a new high at 22 plus on Friday, targeting 24 and 27 going forward. CTMX, little low price play, coming out of a base with a big breakaway gap here and now a wedge forms, targeting 3.5 and 4.5. CTSH, after a long downtrend, inverse head and shoulder, breaks out on Thursday. We put a swing on it, and then backed off to the breakout point, maybe an entry opportunity. Target 70.75. And the Chinese sector data went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now it's got a rising flag. Very bullish chart. The momentum could take it to 18. It's extended though. EDU, another tech trader swing, breaks out a triple top, and then pulls back and tests twice before reaching a new high on Friday at 43.38. My targets are 50 and 56. EHTH, a tech trader swing when it broke out there, then formed a coil and broke out again, and now it's flagging. Looks very good. We can get it through this week's high of 680. You might see 8 and 9.5. EVH, Evelyn broke out Thursday. I put a swing on it and followed through Friday. Near-term targets are 33.4 and then 37.8. EXAS completed a 5-wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Explosive 5th wave. Maybe extended and overbought, but its momentum could carry this one to as high as 77, 78. EYPT popped inverse head and shoulder or right-handed extended V. Either one, breakaway move with big volume up last 5 days in a row. It's gone from 320 to 580. Nice move. And may have some more momentum to carry this as high as 6 or even 7. FDMT, one of my top picks for the year. Breakaway move. Excellent consolidation. What I think will lead to eventually 29.30 and 36.7. FGEN, another biotech stock with a fabulous 5-wave advance, a little extended, but this one's gone from 8 to 21 and has designs, I think, on being in the high 20s. BRQ breaks a long, almost heel-long coil, pops, wedges, and pops again. Their term target would be about 5 3/4, and then I'm looking at 7. For solar with a massive 1, 2, 3, 4 move. Now starting a 5th wave that leads to 200 in my opinion. 195, 200 my target. Fabulous chart. The leader in solar. GDS, after popping and pulling back on a secondary, has snapped right back. It looks awesome for the completion of the 5th wave to get me to 31.2 zone. GDX, the gold sector is moving. GDX came out of its base and has already advanced from 21.5 to 32.5 or more. My target going forward, 34 and 36. A go-to with a massive move, 64 cents vertically to 4 1/4, and then the pullback and now wedge. Boy, if this gets through here, you might see 7 or 8. HIMX also left shoulder, right head, right shoulder. It formed. That would be your what I would call shoulder line. The new rising channel may be beginning. It popped and put a swing on it. It pulled back, but it's coming on again. I'm looking for 9 and 10. HLIT also looks like a swing. Broke out of a base platform, then exploded to the top of the channel, pulled back. Been consolidating for a couple months, and now took off again. And he moved through here. 17 and 20 are your targets. HROW, a top 20 pick for next year, broke through a double top and is sitting here flagging. Looks awfully good. I got a 17 3/4, 18 and 22 for targets. Huya, another Chinese play in a rising channel, looking very strong, targeting 6.5 and 7 3/4. IDYA, another biotech that broke out of a platform it appears to have. Watch this one. If it gets to 19, 19, 15, you might see 23, 24. IMMX with a V bottom, right hand extended, and a spike up, now wedging. Keep an eye on this one for a move at 3.5 and 5. IMRA with a big pop, coil, pop, flag, and pop again. A mini flag is formed. There's a double top there, 5 1/4. Get through that, and you're looking at 6.5 and 9. IMVT, a top 20 pick for the year in a rising channel. Very strong indeed. I'm looking for 25. IQ, another Chinese play with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way move, but it looks strong enough that may get momentum to take this to 8, 8.5. Careful though, extended. Airline group is looking better. Look at the ETF for that group, Jets, inverse head and shoulders and a breakout, but a vertical move, especially from American Airlines, is taking this from 1660 to 2020. My targets are now 22, 24, 5 zone. JNUG with the gold sector moving, JNUG looks like it could run 50-52 target. KDNY, one of my top 20 picks for the year. Excellent action. Retested the high on Friday and backed up, but I moved to 27.5, and I'm looking for 31.2. LABU we put a swing on it Thursday. Friday, it got to the highest level reached since September 16th. It's a 4-month high, but it did pull back. Let's see if it can get a follow through. So 10 and 12 3/4 are targets. LI in the automotive sector for China with a pop, wedge, pop, flag, and pop. Little wedges formed. Might be a 1, 2, or 5. I'm looking for 3, 4, and 5 to get it up to 30, 32. OYTS coming out of a beautiful base. A steady run up with hardly pulling back at all. Very strong momentum. It's gone from 6.5 to 13.5. And it is at a longer term resistance level. Mara and Bitcoin recovered, so did Mara, and I mean dramatically so. $3 to $8. And a little extended with big volume here too, and there's a little bit of overhead resistance just ahead. Maybe due for a pullback retest, but I like the overall look of it. Maybe a bottom in place. MLCO certainly bottomed here, broke out, flagged, and popped again. This Macau casino company, looks like if we break out here, we may be looking at 18 and 22. MNSO, big decline, breakaway, flag, breakout. Target 16 and 20. MODN breaks out here, pulls back and tests, and then you go straight up to shoot. From that level, pullback was 28. It's reached 43. 15-point run, doesn't look done to me. Target 48. Momo breaks out of a base, forms a wedge, and keeps going. Resistance here, but your next target is the double top around 14. That would be right there. Maybe 13.75. NIU, also a Chinese automotive stock that broke out. The moving averages crossed over. It's been platforming here. This looks like a major move could take this one to near 8. NSTG broke out of a base, exploded. We put a swing on it. It's been flagging for 4 days. I like it. Targets are at 11.5, 14, and 18. OM exploded in November and then flagged. I put a swing on it. It went from 18 to 27. It looks like 33.4 is your target. OPRA broke after popping and consolidating. It broke out on Thursday, inside day Friday. I think it gets an extension move to about 8. ORIC broke out of a base. It's been wedging perfectly in here. Excuse me, it targets are 7.5 and 9.5. Pan American Silver, my main representative in the silver group, breaking out of a base, looks like 21 and 24.5 are targets. PACB, tech trader swing from back in here, ran from about 7 to the 12 zone and pulled back, breaking out again. Looking for a retest of 12 and then maybe 14 up there. PBYI breaks out of an inverse head and shoulders mini basis, a low price stock, consolidating, wedging in here. It looks like it's going to take out 5, 5.15 and run. 6.5 and 7 are targets. PCVX, big base pattern, breakaway gap, and a long flag consolidation. Augurs well for a move eventually to take into the mid 50s. PDSB breaks the long decline, double bottoms, breakaway gap, rising flag, spikes to the target, and pulls back to retest. Its target 14 and 17. Perion, one of my favorites all year, continues to move. After a multi-month consolidation, they finally broke out a falling wedge. Falling wedge breaks out, it flags for 5 days, and Friday took another pop to a new high at 31 and change before 30 and change before backing up. Target 33 and 37. PHR, Precia, V-bottomed way back in May, took months to consolidate and broke out and flagged. It's coming on again. My targets at 40 and 45. PI popped big time and consolidated, now wedged or coiled. The coil broke out and high was retested. Once you get to 130, I'm looking for 145.50 or more. Purple broke out of a base and consolidated for 6 weeks, breaking out again. It's at resistance here. The move to this level should get me $8. That's my target. PRQR, major breakaway gap with volume, and now a flag. Looks like it's got more to go. 4 3/4 and 7 are targets. PRVB, a beautiful rising channel, Looks like a stock that has momentum enough to get to mid-teens eventually. REPL, a top 20 pick for the year, breaks out of a base. Pops has been flagging for about a month. Last week it moved up 4 of the last 5 days. It looks like it's getting ready for a pop. Once you get to 28.5, I'm looking for 33 and 36.7. Another biotech, RNA, coming up to a test, a declining tops line that's been 2 years in the making. See where it is. If it breaks through, it can go vertical into the high 20s. ROIV, another top 20 pick, breaks out of a base and keeps going. It's got a rising flag. The next swing target is 11.5, 12. RVMD broke out of a base, went vertical last week. It was not a pick of mine, but it looks awesome. Target 34. RVNC, another biotech, with a 5-way move up and then a 3-wave corrective, exploded, pulled back, and now it's got an inside day. It looks to me like a stock that if it gets to the triple top around 30.5, we can see 34.5 pretty quickly. Another biotech, RVMP, with a spike, falling wedge, spike wedge. 5th wave may be starting. Watch this one for a move through 460. Then your target's 5 3/4 and 9. Rhythm, one of their better picks all year last year, had a swing on it around 5 3/4. It went into the 30 range and backed off, but now coming on again, hit a new high a week ago at 34 and change, to almost 35. My target's 40. Seed has been a wonderful snapback from a pretty hard hit in December. It's only get down to 6, right back up to 969, close 961. I believe next week or so you're going to see 1085, 12, and then 14. SMMT, exploding breakaway gap, rising channel, targeting 7.5. SPRB, breakaway gap and wedge. Might be ready for prime time right here. With this gets to 330, 35. We're looking for 4.5 and 6. Tal, one of the Chinese educational stocks, broke out of a big base. This is a swing of mine from before. This wedge breaks out. I retested the high at 1045s in order, followed by 12 and 13.5. The Bula popped, broke out, pulled back. We put a swing on it. I like the look of this. It should be a big mover this year. There's a nice little flag forming. My targets are 4 and 5. TERN, I believe a top 20 pick for the year as well, breaks out in wedges. I'm looking for this stock to get to 12 3/4 and 17, 18. Technoglass, I like the big consolidation of the huge move it saw go from 4 into the mid 30s. Took about almost a year to consolidate, and now it's moving again. You get over 35 and the stock's probably a $40 stock. DGTX, the tech trader swing, breaks out, pulls back, pops again. I think we got more to go. 15.5 and 20, 21 are targets. THRX, last 2 weeks, exploded, coiled, or just formed a pennant. Friday was a big day for it. Pops from 8 to 1040, finishes 960 up 150. It's a key breakout for it. I'm looking for a move to 14 now. The junior oil sector, Tusk broke out, retested from the wedge, broke out from the falling wedge and popped. Now it's got another one. Target 11.5, 12. UMC inverse head and shoulders. I put a swing on it. I believe it's about to pop. Let's see. Move over 768 will confirm that. The target's then in the 9 and 9.5 zone. VIPS breaks out of base and just runs nonstop. I believe this is a Chinese play. 636 to almost 16, and with the target of 19. BKTX breaks out of a base, goes vertical, and formed the coil. Friday may have broken out. It did back off. Once this one gets above 960, you're looking for 11.5 and 14. VRDN, beautiful pop, rising flag, looking for 47.8. That's a tech trader top 20, as is VRNA, which broke out as a similar pattern. I'm looking for low to mid 30s. VRT, nice 1, 2, 3, 4 with the 5th wave starting. Targets there are 16 and 19. The VTYX popped, had a falling wedge and popped again. You've had gaps here, here, and here. Looks like a stock that can go 41, 42 target. Voyager breaks out of a coil with a gap and run. Been very strong for 3 weeks now. From 520 to 1078, closing at the high for the day, going away and above resistance. tells me we're probably going to test 12.5 3/4 next. Zyme, a tech trader swing and a top 25 pick as well. A big week last week, going from 7.25 to over 10. The target now is 13. And finally, Zixi on the long side, one of my favorites all year. Pop 3-month coil, breakout, 2-month coil, pop and wedge. Looks higher to me. 2021 is my target. I wanted to do a quick look at some of the ETFs, which we didn't cover. The SMH with a V bottom and a platform. Should that one get up there and your resistance is up around 234.5, if it gets above that, you're looking at 245 and 260 as targets. That one looks great. V bottom right hand extension and through the declining top line could lead the way. But the financials also very strong, taking out its declining top line and actually retesting it, forming a massive inverse head and shoulders. You can see that if this gets up through 89.90, we're looking at something 105, 108 or more. And so that's also a very strong telltale sign for the market as well. And when you already looked at the biotechs, they look solid as well. In the gold sector, went through a lot of the ETFs. They look real strong. I'd like to see one more pullback in that sector for a buy area. In terms of oil, the USO has rallied back to the declining top sign. I'd be careful up here because you can see that Gush is nowhere near that resistance level. And that is going to have a tough time getting to 155 and then 166. You do that, then you're in business, but careful. I'm not so high in the gold, in the oil sector these days. Let's do a few shorts and we'll call it good for today. Here's a look at CDNA. A lot of these shorts are coming off the bottom of their channels. They haven't broken out yet. Nevertheless, a pretty strong move for 6-7 days in a row. You may want to consider covering or 1580. LRN looks to me like weak enough that it could be even shorted here, but I'm not shorting in this market yet. If you do want to consider this a short, once it breaks 31, it's likely to see 26. PANW with a massive year-long top and then some, broke its neckline. Now, it's not falling apart because the market's strong, but if the market weakens, this could come down to 120 or even 104. RHI has been a tech trader swing short since it was 99. It got down to 65 and popped, now forming a base. I'd be careful on this one. Tandem broke his bear flag and looks like it could go lower. This is not a good chart. It has not responded well to the market as well. It has dropped all the way down from 155 to 34 before bouncing, but right now it tested 34 maybe in order, if not a lower level into the high 20s. Prex came down hard, but multiple wedges and flags all bearish, but now finally coming to its declining top sign, might be ready for breakout, and I would cover over 52. TTEC with a big downtrend, dropping from 111 into the 40 range, also may be ready for a turnaround, but until if it breaks 50, I won't be so bold to say it's finished its downtrend. TTGT, same kind of pattern. Rally back to resistance, but can it get through? Upwork did work its way back up to the trend line, but hasn't broken out yet. Stay tuned on that one. WRLD, a rally back to resistance like many others. The stop has to be over 85.6. Zoom looks terrible. It's not responding to the rally and looks to me like any downward move in the market could plunge us into the low 50s, high 40s. Zscaler, very similar, but it's a falling wedge. It might snap back at any moment, but it doesn't look good. Target 91 if it falls. BILL also near key support. Not much of a bounce in it at all. And should it fail, we might see mid 70s. Carvana, well, it did have a nice pop Wednesday, Thursday, but came down Friday. There's resistance right there. If you're short, you want to cover this over 8.5 3/4. But after Friday's drop back, it wouldn't surprise me if it came down and retested. Dino is a tech trader swing short. I like the way it broke its trend line and formed the bear coil or wedge. The targets are 42 and 36.7. ESTC also looks ugly and hasn't bounced much at all. You might see 41 too if the market drops. NET, triple bottom. Well, if it breaks that, obviously we got a long way to go down. Lots of room to run down there into with the mid to high 20s. Overstock bouncing with the Bitcoin related stocks, but fairly weak and still in a downtrend. If it fails around 23.4 and rolls over, you might see mid-teens. Snow, well, it tried to bounce along with a lot of other stocks last week, but relatively weak. Only if it gets back above 160, 55, 58 would I cover. Target 110. And finally, BTLE, formerly Laredo Petroleum, is another one of the oils I put out as a tick traded swing short. My targets 37.28. That's a look at the longs, the shorts, the technicals, and some of the ETFs and NASDAQ 100 generals as well. It's going to be an important week next week, everybody. Please review this video and make sure you have some real good ideas in mind about what you want to do. My guidance will lead you forward. This is HB out. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the 3 days. I'll talk to you Tuesday.